Welcome back, everybody. It is October 1st of 2022, and this is episode 46 of What is on My Desk. So welcome back, everybody, to another one of my monthly desk update videos. Right off the bat, I'm just going to go ahead and say, you know what, September was a bad month for content. If any of you out there diligently watching this channel, maybe there's one or two of you who are looking forward to seeing some content for September and were disappointed, I do apologize. It was a busy month. That first week of September was the beginning of school, getting back into a routine for that. That first weekend of September was the Airshow London, and then it was processing and getting pictures uploaded, and then the next weekend was Aero-Gatineau Ottawa. Took the family to that, plus editing and getting photos uploaded. And then that next weekend, that third weekend, which was last weekend, I had a pretty high profile visit at work, and I was a little bit busy getting prepped and everything for that. And luckily it went smooth. It just involved a lot of prep work to make sure it went smooth. And, you know, before a blink of an eye, it's now Monday the 26th of September, and I had no time at all to do any content. So I have been getting caught up a little bit on the desk the past couple of days, cleaning up and getting back into the groove of what I was doing. I got that F-15 finished. We'll look at that a little bit. And just been kind of focusing on getting back in the headspace of where I was with everything. So going forward, I do have some more content that will be going on. You'll see some more the usual stuff. We'll talk a little bit near the end of the video about kind of, you know, the update for the whole channel. But just be aware that I am obviously aware that there was no content in September. I do plan on doing some more stuff going forward. So don't worry, the channel isn't going to be going anywhere anytime soon. On that note, though, let's get swung over. Let's take a look at this desk. Let's see the progress. And as always, my name is Sean, and this is Sean's Aviation. So before we get to the progress on the models, let's take a quick look at some of the stuff I got from Airshow London. It was actually a pretty successful air show, all things considered. I'll start off with kind of the big item. The Ohio Air National Guard Stingers brought up 4 F-16s and had the 4 F-16s on static. It was actually all around a really good show. 4 F-16s from the Stingers, 2 F-16s from the Flying Makos out of Florida, 4 F-15s from the Oregon Air National Guard, 1 Strike Eagle from Mountain Home Air Force Base, and then they actually had 2 F-15s come up from the Louisiana Air National Guard. So in total they had, there was 6 F-16s on static and 5 F-15s on static, and then 2 F-15s flying on the show, and you mix that in with the F-22 demo and a whole bunch of heavy statics. It was a really, really good show. I didn't really get much video from that weekend. I was there with families, so this year was a bit of a family year for air shows, so I didn't get quite as much content as I normally do. I might do a quick video in the future about that air show. We'll see what I end up getting around to. But the Stingers had quite a bit of swag. It's a quick run from Ohio up, so usually they'll fly the planes in, and then they'll have somebody from the ground, a wife or another pilot, will drive up with a whole bunch of stuff to sell. And they had a lot of cool stuff. And I have quite a few of their coins from before, just to kind of go through for those who may have forgot. I got the maintenance coin with the engine fan on it, and I've got their generic coin, which is the state of Ohio, with the flag. I have that coin, and I believe I have another one. Where it is kicking around right now, I probably couldn't tell you even if I wanted to, but I'm pretty sure I have one other coin from them that's an actual coin, but I can't find it right off the top, and I have so many coins. Anyways, I'm pretty sure I have one other coin from them, but at least those two. And I got a bunch of patches and stickers and stuff. But anyways, they had a lithograph, a picture of one of their F-16s. This is a bit of an older print. It's from 2006, so it's kind of their older scheme before they went to the half glass. But they have all of the pilots sign it. You've got call signs are Bat, Father, Punk 4, Pose It, Voodoo, Punk. I can't read that one. There's Meatloaf, Tug. I think that's Angel or Ogle. Grease, Cage, Pent, Ragin, Stinky. His name's Richard Colin, so Stinky Colin. And then I don't know if that is Dur. I don't know. Anyways, it's hard to read some of the writing, but you've got all the pilots from the Oregon Air National Guard signed the lithograph, and they had a couple that they were selling, and then they had one that was being done up for a raffle. So I picked that up. That's pretty cool. I had a little bit of dirt got on it from the from when I was down there. I'm hoping that'll just kind of work its way off eventually. But I'm going to get that framed eventually and get that hanging up on the wall along with a bunch of other stuff I have. I need a place to hang some of this stuff. I have so much stuff to hang and still a little wall space. So I'll deal with some of that a little bit later. And then moving over, well look, I only got one sticker. It's from VMMT204, which is the V22 unit that had, I'll zoom in here just a hair so you guys can see. That's the V22 unit that was on static. They had one static, one flying in the show, so I got a sticker. I also got their patch, which I mean it's basically the same as their sticker. So I got the patch, and I have a coin, which I'll show you the coin in a little bit. So that was from the V22 guys. And then we got, RCAF had a CP140 on static display for the show from 405 Squadron. So I got one of the patches. Again, I mean, I'm not a big patch person, but I figured that'd be good to have. I need to fill up a zap board at work, so it's probably a good thing to have a few of these to throw up. And you know, it's 405. It's an RCF squadron. I don't have a lot of RCF patches, so that was a bit of a nice addition to my collection. And then there was the Screamin' Demon Adversaries. That was the T-38 unit that was on there from Langley Air Force Base in Virginia. They do training with the F-22s based out of Langley. So they were there with a single T-38. They only had patches, so I picked that up. And then they had P-8 Poseidon, the War Eagles Patrol Squadron 16, VU-16. So they had that on display as well. They only had some patches and stuff, not a lot of stuff, but I managed to pick up the patch again. I'm not a patch person, but I need to fill the zap board, so I was at least getting something. And then I got two from the Oregon Air National Guard. The first one is just the basic Eagle Driver patch. That's kind of the generic patch that all the different F-15 units have on their shoulders as an F-15 pilot. But then I specifically got the one for 114th Squadron, which is the one in Langley, and it's the Kingsley, which is the Air Force base, the Air National Guard base they're located at, the Kingsley Eagle Driver. So I kind of have each individual specific, the general F-15 patch, and then specifically the pilot's patch for the 114th Fighter Squadron. They didn't really have anything else for sale. They didn't have any coins or anything, which I was a little disappointed with. I was looking forward to getting a coin from the 114th, as I did get to see them fly, and they put on an amazing show, by the way. Their arrival on Friday evening, all four of them in a formation, and they all broke off. It was unbelievable to watch. One of the best arrivals I've ever seen at an air show by far. And then we'll move on to coins. I have quite a few of them. I'm going to go down the list kind of in terms of the most generic to the coolest. So we'll start with the V22 unit. It's got the exact same logo as the patch on the one side, and then the back side. It's I'm not exactly sure what is there. I think there's a lot of the different. There's wings, there's ATC, there's like a Space Force, there's ATC. I don't really know what all the logos are for, but it does says the first, the finest. I'm assuming that was the first V22 unit to activate. But the meaning behind all the details here on the back of the coin, I'm not 100% sure on. But I usually leave it that side up when it's on the shelf. It does fit quite nicely and look really cool with all the other coins. So moving on, I'll show you this one here. This is from the New Hampshire Air National Guard, and they had a new KC-46, which is the 767 refueler that the Air Force has, and they were only selling these little bottle opener coins. but it does have the squadron logo, the 133rd Air Refueling Squadron, New Hampshire Air National Guard, from Peace Air National Guard Base, right across the bottom here. Then on the back side, there's kind of the outline of the F-16 with the state in the background, and then of course Live Free or Die, which is New Hampshire's state motto. And then below it, it says death is not the worst of evils. I don't know if that's a New Hampshire saying or a squadron saying, not entirely sure. And across the bottom, KC-46A Pegasus. So that's the coin that they were selling. I have another bottle opener coin, which was from Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, the A-10 unit that's based there. So the two of them together is kind of cool. I have them side by side on the shelf just because they do have the bottle opener look, and you know, it's different. And they're both yellow, so it kind of fits together. So that was that. I did get a coin, a standard coin from the Makos. There's no color, it's just a punched coin. Mako, it's their Czech coin, so the Mako Czech. There's no number engraved on it, but you have the ability to do a name or a number there down the way. I'm assuming this is something they do. Everybody in the unit gets one of these with a call sign or something engraved on it. And if you ever run into a squadron buddy and they ask for the coin, it's usually the military thing. Hey, do you got your Czech coin? And if you do, hey, you're good. If you don't, you usually have to buy a round of beer or something along those lines. Each squadron has its own procedure. But that's their Czech coin. On the back is the shark. The 93rd Fighter Squadron, world famous Makos. So I got that. There, like I said, that's just their standard coin. And then their special coin, which I'm happy with, is the big. It's a bottle opener as well, but it's a giant shark tooth. It's on the back side. It says Homestead Air Reserve Base, Florida, with the Mako F-16 on the shark tooth, and then the bottle opener in the corner. And on the other side is the full color. I don't know what the colors mean, what the meaning is behind the red and the yellow and the checker. I have to look up the history of the unit to see. But those are the Makos with the shark in the middle of the 93rd Fighter Squadron. So I really like that. That's a nice big. It goes along with all my like weird shaped coins, because I do have quite a few, you know, the weirdly shaped coins. So I have a bunch that look really cool together. And finally, the most special one I want to say was from the 343rd Reconnaissance Squadron. They brought up an RC-135, and back in the day they had up an RC-135 up, and I got a sticker from them. It's actually at my office at work. I'll have to go through my coins. I might have a coin, an earlier coin from that unit. I'm not entirely sure. I don't believe I do. I should go through and make a list of all the coins I have. But anyways, we ran into them on the Friday. We did a bit of wandering around on the Friday, on the arrivals day, and we ran up, we asked if they had coins. There was a whole bunch of school kids out. It was a show and tell day kind of thing for grade 5 and grade 6 kids in London. So they all came out to the airport on the Friday and had a field trip for the day, the learning day. Amazing that they run that, by the way. I think that all schools should be involved with air shows like that. It's really cool when they do it. But they didn't want to put all their swag out on the Friday because they didn't want the kids going crazy with it. So we asked if they had any swag, like, can you come back on Saturday? We kind of said, well, I'm not sure. My buddy wasn't going to be in the show on Saturday, and I was there with my daughter, and I didn't know my timeline and how early I could get out to hit the swag and make sure I didn't miss anything. So amazingly, the one pilot actually brought us up into the cockpit of an RC-135. We weren't allowed to go into the back of the fuselage because the interior of the plane is actually classified. So we weren't allowed to go into the back where all the electronics were, but we were allowed in the cockpit section. And we actually got our picture taken in the nose, and I'll actually throw the picture up. I'll blur out the face of my buddy just for privacy reasons. But there's me and my friend sitting in the cockpit of an RC-135 rivet joint. Unbelievable, amazing experience. Sat there for about 20 minutes just chatting with the pilot and all the cool stuff that they've done and all that kind of whatnot. So it was really, really cool that we got a chance to do that. And part of that was so we could buy the swag. And it turned out they only had 2 coins. They only brought up 2 coins total, and me and him got them. And they were a bit pricey, but they were an amazing coin. And I'll throw up the patch, or a crest, for what the 343rd Reconnaissance Squadron's crest looks like. So you can see kind of where the idea came from for the coin. But now here's the coin. And it is cool. I mean, it is thick. It's got tons of detail. I love the enamel on it. I like the change in the metal, the plating on the beak. The foot has a bit of plating on it as well. And then you've got the red enamel that just makes it pop, and the white enamel, and it just looks amazing. And on the back side, it's got the 343rd Reconnaissance Squadron punched into it. But it is just a beautiful, unique coin. And the fact that they only had 2 of them, I'm so glad I got my hands on this. It just looks amazing in the collection. So that is where we are for swag from London. Like I said, I'm probably not going to do a full-blown video on it. I might just, I'll put a link, honestly, down in the description where you can go on to my website to the pictures I took of the show. 100% I'll do that. I just don't think I'm going to do a full video review on it. I guess I did not get enough content to make that worthwhile, and the time and effort to edit a video for that, you know, it's not what I'm going to do. But anyways, so that's London. That's the swag. Michigan was in July, so I did Michigan already. But that's what I got from London. So while we're at it, I think I'm just going to swing right over. Oh, you know what? I do have something else. I have a new model. Now, it's new to me, but it's not new-ish. I have to caveat this. I'll show you what the kit is first. So this is the Italeri V22 Osprey in 1/48 scale. Now, I had an Osprey kit already. I had the old Testers kit, which came out in, I believe, the late 90s. And the Testers kit was actually the original Italeri kit that came out in the 90s. And it was the prototype, so it was very generic. A lot of the little bells and whistles were missing off the outside because it was modeled off of the prototype. And the plastic is almost the same in here that was in the Testers kit. They've just refined the kit over the years. They've added things, they've refined the molds as things have changed. So this is more of an example of the newest version of the V22. So I actually gave that older one off. I think I gave it to my dad just to get rid of it. I'm not going to go too crazy. I bought this off of Dave Roof. He runs Flying Leathernecks decals. Not sponsored in any way, so don't get any impression on that. But I have bought from him a number of times, and both from personally and through his store, and it's awesome. And this actually included a set of the canopy and wheel masks, which be interesting to use these, see how they fit. And I came with a set of decals as well. I have the decals in the decal. I'm not going to go through that right now. Again, I'll put a link down below to my website review for this kit, as well as the, if I have it done in time, as well as the decal sheet. It might not be up yet. I'll put a link to the V22 review page, and if it's up, you'll be able to find my website review for this kit, as well as the pictures of the Flying Leathernecks decals that I got. I have an older set on there already, but I'll put the newer set up when I get it. So this is what you get in the kit. It does have raised detailing, but the aircraft itself has raised detailing, so you're not really missing anything on it. But it has a lot of a few newer parts added. As I said, the fuselage was changed a little bit around the nose. More little bits and pieces were added to the molds that weren't on the original Testers one that I had. So I wanted to go ahead and get this newer one so that I can do it up looking more like a newer version of the V22 from what I had. And this includes a few extra bits and bobs for the inside, the plane and all that other stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. The instructions, if you go on the website, let's click the link to the V22 review sites. If I don't have the Italeri one up, you'll at least see the Testers one. And the instructions are actually very similar. It's the same kind of build. It's the same pieces. You'll see there's been a few little things added, but overall it's more or less the same. Like you have this ability to cut the ramp to have it open. That wasn't in the Testers kit. You get a little bit more detail in the interior than you did in the Testers kit. Some of these internal pieces here are new. And then when you get farther down into the build, especially on the back side here, some of these little pieces here, the additions to all the sensors and all that stuff, that wasn't existing in the earlier kit, but this one has it. So I have to figure out kind of what scheme I want to do this up in. I haven't quite figured that out yet. Based off all the decals I have, I will sort something out. I'm probably going to offload. I got to do a full review of all the models I have in there. I also have a few models that I had bought to build. A friend of mine was paying me to build models for him, and I had gone ahead and bought a bunch of kits, but I normally didn't charge him for the kits until after I had built them. And he basically said, yeah, like, let's hold off for now, don't build them. And then we lost touch, and I have a whole bunch of kits back there that I'm not sure if I'm ever going to build. So I need to go through and parse out a lot of this stuff that I don't plan on ever building and sell that kind of stuff off. So one of the Flying Leathernecks decal sheets that I have will be going up for sale at some point. I just don't quite know when yet. Moving on, we will look at the progress of the kits. Now, I think I have to double check my last video, but I'm pretty sure I introduced it in the last video, but I was doing the F-15 for Airshow London for the Oregon guys, and it turned out that the scheme I was building it in, the aircraft had been repainted, so there was no chance of seeing the actual one I built up. But I built it anyways, and I actually left it for the Airshow London guys so they could have it. They could do what they want with it. So unfortunately, being the air show, was really busy, and I never had a chance to actually physically hand off to the guy. But I ran into him on the airfield, told him I was there, and I have a contact in London that is going to make sure it gets to the person it belongs to. And anyways, it was finished. I got it done in time to get it to London. So I don't have it physically anymore. So I'll throw up a few pictures of the final product. It turned out looking amazing considering how I started with it as a pre-built kit that I got from a buddy of mine that he built back in like 2001, 2002. And I went through and stripped the paint, cleaned it up, and redid it. So it looked really, really, really good. Super happy to finally get that out of the way and move on. And I had a bit of time to get working on the 109s. So I have done a bit of progress on the 109s. Not much, because I was focused quite heavily on that F-15. And as I mentioned in the intro, it's been a very busy month for me. But the 109E, again, it's built. The main fuselage is together. I'm almost to the point where I can get the cockpit on and prime. So I just got to, glue the cockpit, mask it, and then I can get a coat of primer on this and check these seams. I'm not so worried about the fuselage. I'm a little worried about these wings. I got to get in here and clean up a little bit more, especially around the humps here in the leading edges. I got the wing root, I should say. I got to get in there a little bit and clean up a little bit more with those. I'll be able to do more once I get the primer on and I get a good feel for what things look like under a coat of paint. So I got to clean that up, and then I just got to go through and polish off a lot of these sanding marks. I did the fuselage already with the fine grit. I just got to get in and do the wing roots and across the bottom here. Polish that up, get the canopies glued on, get a shot of primer on it, go through and kind of see where things stand and for the final look. And then from there, I'll be able to clean up a little bit more, start adding some of the final bits and pieces to it, the horizontal stabs and some of the intakes and the radiators. I'll get all that added to it once I get a coat of primer on it, and then I can shoot the final color. So it's coming along, it's looking good. Very close to needing that final step. 109G from Edward, pretty much, they're all at the same position, they're all at the same stage, but this is the same way. Fuselage is glued together. I've got all the fuselage seams sanded and finished with fine sandpaper, polished out. I just have to go through, I've already puttied and sanded the wing roots, so what I need to do now, you'll see here where some of the putties filled in some of these panel lines. I got to go through and just pick that out, make sure I clean those out. It's be nice when I do a coat of primer. And then I've still got the intake underneath here I got to install and get that cleaned up and finished. And then it's going to be canopies, masking, hit it with a coat of primer, check everything, and as long as it looks good, I can go ahead, just like the 109E, start adding in things like the ailerons and the flaps and the horizontal stabs and the little, the humps and bumps around here and a lot of the little things, so that I can start getting the camo painted. So we're moving along quite nicely with that as well. And then we have the Hobbycraft Bouchon. Again, it's at the same stage. Fuselage has been assembled. I've cleaned up all the seams. I polished off the fuselage seams. The wings are glued on. I have the wing roots puttied, sanded. All of this stuff has all been cleaned up. Looks pretty good. Same thing now. I just got to polish off those seams, and then canopies, masking, and then hit it with a coat of primer. And then from there, I'll be able to check the overall look of everything. And as long as everything looks good, then it is also ready for a coat of, basically the final paint. This has, other than the horizontal stabs, most of the little things are on it already. I got a few little wing fences and humps and stuff I'll do once, like I said, the coat of primer, and I'm happy with all the seams. That way I'm not trying to mess around with everything sticking out and I break things off and end up having issues sanding. So we'll do all that at the end. But It's looking really good. This one and the last one will be on a stand, so I'll have to eventually drill a hole. I'm probably going to go right behind the seat, so the brass rod will come up somewhere, you know, kind of in this neighborhood from below anyways, but come in just behind, in front of this wing joint, so that the rod sits just behind the bulkhead of this cockpit. I think that's the best place to put it. And then it'll be mounted on a stand, and that's going to hide a lot of the nastiness, because the wheels will be up, the cockpit will be closed. You're not going to have a lot of worries about, you know, some of the roughness of this will be hidden because it will be buttoned up and on a stand. And finally, I have the Hobbycraft Avia, the S199. It's coming along too. Same thing, fuselage has been sanded. I got most of the seams polished on that. Wings are glued together. The wing roots have been puttied and sanded. They are looking good. Again, I got to clean up a little bit here with the flaps and whatnot when they meet the seam. I got to clean that seam up a little bit. Nothing too crazy. And then same idea. I'm going to drill a hole somewhere about here. Have a stand, the rod. Get that done. Once I get these seams cleaned up, there's not much left on this either. Like I said, just a few little intakes and lumps and bumps, and it's going to be also ready for the coat primer. And then from there, it's not too long till I do a coat of paint. And then this is, paint wise, it won't be too difficult. This is going to be an all over kind of German gray color, more of an early interior gray color, RLMO2 I believe it is. The whole airframe will be painted that color, and then done up in Israeli markings. It'll be very easy for me to get that paint done. One shot. I think there's some red I got to do on it, but it won't take long to paint. Bouchon, it's the silver over the azure blue. So again, it won't take me too long to paint. It's pretty easy. I'll just paint the blue, mask it, hit the aluminum on the top, and then it's done. That's pretty much it. So it shouldn't take too long to get that painted as well. The two earlier ones are going to take some effort because it's German World War II camo. So it's got the gray underneath and then the splinter camo on top. And I can't remember which one I'm doing. I think I'm doing this one in the desert scheme. So it's the gray, like a bluey gray bottom, more of like a tan top with dark brown splotches. And I'm going to use paper masks to get the splotches done properly. So that's the plan for this one. And this one's the splinter top. And then I think I got to do some splotches as well and some overpainting. I think I'm whitewashing this one a little bit. Maybe I got to look into that again. I can't remember what decals I selected, which ones I chose. I can never remember this far into the process what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm doing... I think I'm doing this one with the whitewash is the one I had selected. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm doing the whitewash one with the yellow. So, you know, some work on that one. But yeah, so it's going to take, these two are going to be the difficult ones when it comes to painting. But, you know, it is what it is. I'll start to mix and match a little bit with the colors as I have to and try to make it as easy as possible to paint. But it is going to take a bit of effort to get everything painted up nice. And it sucks that they're all slightly different schemes. Usually when I paint, I can paint a bunch of stuff at once as I'm doing multiple planes because they're kind of the same paint scheme. This is nothing even close. So it's going to be a bit of effort, but it'll look really good when it's done. So going forward on this channel, as I mentioned in the intro, I was way behind schedule for September. Very little came out. Just too busy with the air shows and then work. But moving forward into October, things should be slowing down a little bit more. Getting back to kind of a normal winter school routine with the family and with work. So it might not be as hectic. I should have a bit more free time to do editing as well with work. I will be having a little bit more of those. You know, I have a later night. But I'm just kind of sitting around waiting for things to happen late at night. So I'm going to have a bit more free time to sit down and plug away on the laptop and get, especially for the RCAF history videos, get the research done and do editing and stuff like that. So it shouldn't take, I should have more content moving forward as we go. This month has just been a bad month, but I'm currently working on the time-lapse video for those F-15s. So the F-15 kit, the singular, I've been working away on that, so it should be done soon. I should have that out early in October, and then I'm going to have RCF History Squadron video for 413 Squadron should be out by the middle of the month, and then we'll see. I might, like I said, a couple of quick updates from air shows, just mostly picture. Only would be video. It'd be more of a picture slideshow style update of the show. Maybe we'll see. I have enough content with the shelves of built models that I still have to go through. I can get a bunch of those done and loaded up in October. So I have enough content. I have enough stuff that I'm going to try to get back out and on a schedule. And then moving forward, you know, a couple of months or two, I'll have all of these time lapses to do, and I'll have the intros for the new kits and new product reviews. And there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff coming in the near future. So it is going to get better. I apologize for the delays. And on that note, I think I'm going to wrap this video up because I now have to edit this video. So I'll wrap it up here. And like I said, expect some content coming out in the next few weeks. And in terms of this monthly update, we'll see you all next month. So thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching, guys, and as always, if you are interested in any of the content you see, you can access my website at www.seans-aviation.com. You can see all the latest pictures of aircraft and museums and the build logs of all of my current models and past models on that site. And if you're interested in any of this content, please click the subscribe button here on YouTube to follow more. Thank you very much, and see you guys next time.